What is going on, all you Pokemon collecting maniacs out there? This is Ryan, the PikiPikaPapa, and here we are, everybody. All right, the spreadsheets have been updated, the data has been crunched, the numbers are in, and we are ready to talk about our Q2 Sword and Shield booster box predictions. And if you have not watched the video on Friday where we talked about our Q1 Sword and Shield booster box prediction results, at the end of this video, you have to go back and watch it because it was nothing short of amazing, if I do say so myself. Like, this type of math, this type of detail, this type of attempt to go ahead and give us some indication of what might happen in the future is absolutely unbelievable. And what will happen is, as we do this over time, as we get more data points, as we look at this over and over and over again, we're going to become smarter and smarter. I'm always talking about adding tools to our tool belt. I'm always talking about playing chess when other people are playing checkers. And this is going to be a huge part of it. Before we get into any of that, I do have to give my selfless plug. If you like stuff like this, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, drop a comment down below. It goes a long way for helping the channel out, and it lets me know that you guys appreciate it. It's a ton of work. I love doing it, but nothing makes me happier than hearing from you all out there one way or the other, because at the end of the day, I just want to make stuff that you guys love. So, I will also call out this. This is all directional, right? There's a lot of things going on in the outside world that this math doesn't take into account, right? Math is black and white. It takes inputs and it gives us outputs. That's it. It doesn't know what's going on in Ukraine. It doesn't know what's going on with banks. It doesn't know what's going on with FTX. It doesn't know that retailers are, getting ready for a possible recession, right? Like, there's a lot of things the math doesn't know. So that's where we as collectors and investors, we have to go ahead and add, our own brain power into this as we make decisions. So, with that being said, I always call out Yogi Berra's famous quote. It's tough to make predictions, especially about the future. Love you, Yogi. Let's get into it. First, I want to show you guys a little bit behind the curtains. This is what it looks like. I explained it all on Friday, so I'm not going to go into tons of detail, but I take all of the booster boxes from the Sword and Shield era. I have all of their end of month booster box prices in here. I put it into a BI calculator, which is in Microsoft Excel, and it spits out this cool little spaghetti model. The blue line is where it has been. The orange line is where it thinks it will be. It gives us an upper and a lower confidence bound, and those are the items that we talk about here. And again, now that we've done this once for one quarter, we have additional insight. We have additional information that we can add into these Q2 projections. So without further ado, let's get into it right now, everybody. All right, so we always start off with the four oldest sets. So we have Sword and Shield, Rebel Clash, Darkness Ablaze, and Vivid Voltage. So in these older ones, it's kind of what I expected. There's a little bit more stability. We're adding more data points. Sword and Shield has been on fire. What I like about these now is in these older sets, we have January 2022 price. We have March 2023 price. Like, I just pulled the March price yesterday. So really, we have 15 months of data for a lot of these sets, which is really cool. Sword and Shield, hey, it's killed it over the last 15 months. It's went up 70 freaking dollars. That's an amazing rate of return over 15 months. The upper confidence bound, which is in green over here, the math is saying, hey, it could go up 8% in the next quarter, or it could go down 7%. So the math is kind of 50-50. But that's because the price has been relatively stable. It's been going up at a smooth and stable place. We'll see some other stuff like Rebel Clash right below it where, hey, even though the price has only changed $20 in the last 15 months, the price has been up and down and sideways and then up again and then down again. And there has been a lot of volatility in that $20 price change. And that's why when you look at it, the math is saying, hey, the next 3 months isn't a huge period of time. It could go up 14%. It could go down 16%. But because over the last 15 months, that $20 price changes included so much volatility, the math is kind of protecting itself and just saying, we're not 100% sure which way this is going to go. So we're going to give you a bigger band of uncertainty. So that's what it did in Rebel Clash. I personally, going through our first exercise, like most of all of them were either in the upper confidence bound or even outperformed the upper confidence bound. I think there was only one that ended up in the lower confidence bound, and that was an anomaly, right? Out of 12, only one in Q1 ended up in the lower confidence bound. But all of them universally ended up between the upper and lower confidence bound, which is great. That just means that this data is doing what it should do, and it's given us a reasonable bandwidth to look within. So super excited about that. Darkness Ablaze, another one that over the last 15 months, it's only been up 20 bucks, and the math is saying, hey, it could go up 7%, it could go down 6%. Vivid Voltage, same thing, up 22 bucks, and hey, it could go up 7%, could go down 8%. But this is where we can add in our collecting and investing insight. So none of these are available on Pokemon Center right now. As far as I'm concerned, there's no guarantees in the world of Pokemon reprints, but I feel really good that these four are outside of the reprint window. I don't think think they're going to go start cranking the printers on for Sword and Shield or Rebel Clash anytime soon, especially with the change in border colors. So I certainly feel good that these aren't going to be reprinted. And Vivid Voltage is a set that we've talked a lot about. And at the very end of this video, I'm going to give you my PikiPikaPapa picks, and I'm going to get into that a little bit more. But that's why it's so important. Like, this isn't a selfless plug. Like, I want you guys to watch all of my videos. They do all layer on top of each other. And there's just a lot of information that we can use to connect to make this awesome web we weave of Pokemon collecting and investing awesomeness, and brings it all together. So we'll talk about that more. But at the end of the day, like, these are relatively stable, and that's what we expect in some of the older sets, okay? So for my pick out of these, Vivid Voltage is where I'm going to get into, and I'll tell you some more about that here in a little bit. Now we're going to get into the middle four sets, okay? And this is where we start to see a little more volatility from the upper and lower confidence bounds, right? So you have Battle Styles. Battle Styles is something, again, that I'm going to talk about at the very end of the video. It's at $111 right now. It's been volatile over those last 15 months, right? Even though it's gone up $21, like, the price has been up, down, all around. It's been as low as 85. It's been as high, you know, it's been all over the place. So that's why it's saying, hey, it could go up 10%. It could go down 13%. So the math is actually saying, hey, it's got a better odds of it going down than going up, and that's because of all the volatility it's seen as of late. Chilling Reign, the math loves Chilling Reign, right? It could go up 16%, up to $166. It could go down 9% to $130. But remember, there's a higher probability, there's a higher growth rate versus the drop rate. So the math is suggesting this is going to go up. But this is where we have to layer in our intelligence and what's going on in the outside world, because Chilling Reign is available on Pokemon Center at $145, right? So it's available at MSRP. I don't think Chilling Reign, Fusion Strike, like, both of them are available on Pokemon Center. I don't see how they can possibly break out until they're sold out. Now, I don't know how much they have. Who knows how long it's going to be on the Pokemon Center, but I'm going to tell you right now that it is going to struggle to reach full potential as long as it's available at MSRP, because that just makes sense. We have seen Brilliant Stars, which we'll talk about in the next group. Like, we've seen Brilliant Stars somehow manage to be up to $178, despite the fact that you can buy it for $145. Makes no sense, but that's what it is. That is what the market is doing. People are out there buying it on the secondary market for $180 left and right. So that's where it is. But for me, I think Chilling Reign and Fusion Strike, even though there's some upside there, the math likes Fusion Strike as well. Like, it says, hey, it could go up 14%, could drop 11%. And I do think that Fusion Strike is going to do well once it sells out on Pokemon Center. Do I think it's a top 5 set? Probably not, but I do think that it will have the opportunity to give investors some solid return on sealed investments once it is sold out on Pokemon Center, because I think Sword and Shield era is done, finite, over. And I saved Evolving Skies on this slide for the very end. Look at the upper confidence and lower confidence bounds on Evolving Skies. Could go up 40% in the next quarter to $522 a box, or it says it might drop 1% to $367. Now, if you watched the video on Friday, you saw that Evolving Skies had these crazy upper and lower confidence bounds. It said it could go up 46%, it could go down 30%, and that was because Evolving Skies was such a freight train of growth over the 12 data points that we put in. The math said, I got to protect myself. I don't know if it can continue on this crazy trajectory. I showed you the graph on the second slide of this, where I showed you, hey, the blue to the orange. I'm going to tell you right now, that blue graph for Evolving Skies was up and to the right like I haven't seen. And then the orange line just continued to go this way. The math has finally said, you know what, this has been so hot for so long, we have to side with the upper confidence bound. So it is way skewed to the upside. And I don't disagree with it. I don't see anything derailing Evolving Skies. Think about it. There was a small restock on Pokemon Center. It survived that. You can buy sealed booster packs, you know, pretty regularly at MSRP, and it survived that. I just think Evolving Skies is going to continue to be a freight train. And overall, in general, this is what we saw in the Q1 projections too, is if you believe that the bull market is going to continue, we need to focus more on the upper than the lower confidence bounds, because our Q1 results showed that the upper confidence bound is where everything was moving. So again, think about the external factors. When you look at these prices, when you look at these projections, think about, you know, these being available at MSRP on Pokemon Center. All of those are things we have to layer in. But for those that aren't, if you think the bull market's going to continue, focus on that green upper confidence bound, because it certainly showed in Q1 that that's where the action is at. Now, we're going to get into the 4 newer sets right here. We have more data than we did last time, obviously, right? We have 3 more data points, which is exciting, but we're still going to see these huge variations. Like Brilliant Stars, the math still loves it. In Q1, it loved Brilliant Stars. I think it had a 30% upper confidence bound. It has regressed a little bit down to 18, but that's because it's been flat for the last 3 months because you can buy it at MSRP. I'm not going to beat that horse anymore. Anyways, Brilliant Stars, as soon as it's sold out in Pokemon Center, I'm telling you right now, I think that thing is going to pop the heck off. So that's all I'm going to say about Brilliant Stars. We've talked about it a lot. Astral Radiance, I think that's a great opportunity as well. It's at $128. Yes, you can still get it for $145 on Pokemon Center, but there's a good delta between the current market price and what you can buy it for on Pokemon Center. The math is kind of at a toss-up, 16% to the up, 18% to the down. Again, we think it's a bull market. I certainly do. I don't think anything's going to derail Pokemon over the next 3 months, so I'm looking more at the green than the red. But the math, again, it's from February to March, so we only have, a full year's worth of data, which is great. We still have 13 data points here, which is just going to continue to get more and more solid as we go out. And again, I don't think there's going to be reprints, but I don't know how much of this product is sitting at Pokemon Center. They could have warehouses and warehouses and warehouses of this stuff, and it could just never go to sold out. They never do a quote-unquote reprint, but they just have tons of this in backstock. I don't know. All I know is I think that the long-term upside of this product, as well as Brilliant Stars, actually, all 4 of these, I think the upside of these is all really good. I don't know how much of this product exists. I think that they have switched all of their printers over to silver borders instead of yellow, so I don't think there's going to be any more reprints. I've shared that very transparently over the last, month and a half. I've thought that way, and my feeling hasn't changed, and there certainly hasn't been anything in the news or in the community to make me think otherwise. I still think it's the same thing. I'm going to go down as saying I called that nice and early. And just from a business perspective, why would they reprint something at a lower price when you can printed at a higher price? It just doesn't make any sense. Anyways, neither here nor there. But this could be short print country, right? Like Silver Tempest, when we look at some of this, Team Up is freaking crazy. It's over $1,000. I looked at it this morning at TCG Player. It is the lowest price sealed booster box you can get on TCG Player for Team Up is $1,700. Even though the market price for Team Up is $1,000, the lowest one you can buy it for on TCG Player right now is $1,700. And that's because it was a short printed set. Like XY Evolutions was a short printed set, and that's up to $700 as well. So again, print runs matter. I don't know how much of this is out there, but these are certainly in that territory of end of the era. Like, they had to switch the printers over from yellow borders to silver borders. So this could be short printed. And we just need more data points, right? August to March isn't a ton. You see that the gap on Silver Tempest that says, hey, it could go up 35%, it could go down 26%. Who knows? But I will say this, remember, these are all available on Pokemon Center, so I don't see any of these breaking out anytime soon. But if you can get them at a great deal, I think long run, these are going to be awesome buy and hold investments from a sealed perspective as well. Now we're going to get into PikiPikaPapa picks. I didn't do this last time, but you guys know I'm always trying to improve these videos. I'm always trying to make them better. You guys are sometimes interested in what I'm doing, so I'm going to share with you where I'm putting some of my money right now. I just talked about Astral Radiance, right? I think it's a quality set. Right now, there's the biggest gap between that and the Pokemon Center pricing, okay? So Astral Radiance is $128 right now. A booster box Pokemon Center is $145, 144 and change, so I round up to 145. But anyways, there's a big gap there. I think that it's a great opportunity to get into Astral Radiance. I certainly see it getting up to that 145 point, and then once it sells out, I think it's going to get even higher than that. We talked about Vivid Voltage on the very first results slide that we were talking about there. We have been doing a ton of analysis recently. Listen, we talked about our grading video, right? Like the top cards and top sets that were graded by PSA last month. And guess what? Vivid Voltage was one of the top sets that were graded. We looked at TCG Player, like what cards have exchanged hands the most on TCG Player, like the Chunkachu from Vivid Voltage was in the top 10. Like we're seeing all of these other data points that are suggesting Vivid Voltage might be a decent set. Like Vivid Voltage came out and it was hot, but then it just got printed into the ground and everybody got off the Vivid Voltage train, but they might be piling back in. This might be the time to get in and see again. Who knows? But I'm going to tell you right now, all of the data suggests that people are interested in that set. Doesn't mean the price is going to go up, but it certainly means that there's a lot of interest there, and I want to be a holder of sealed Vivid Voltage booster boxes for all of those reasons. Battle Styles is the lowest price booster box in the Sword and Shield era right now. It's not available on the Pokemon Center. It's likely not going to get reprinted. For this exercise, I looked and I said, okay, what are the lowest prices booster boxes outside of the Sword and Shield era? The cheapest one I could find was Sun and Moon Crimson Invasion. That's at $170. So I mean, even if it performs as terribly as Crimson Invasion did, that's a $60 gain over the next couple years. Like, I'll take that all day long. So I picked up some Battle Styles booster boxes. I got them in the collection and I'm happy to hold them. We'll see what happens. I think it's going to outperform Crimson Invasion. I certainly do. I think the Sword and Shield era is a great era, and I think the booster boxes as a whole are going to do well. So even the worst one in Sword and Shield is going to do pretty darn good. So happy to have Battle Styles. And then Evolving Skies. Like, I know it's crazy to have it on here again. You all know I just picked up a sealed booster box the other day for $320, and that feels like an absolute steal now. Even just a month later, I feel like I absolutely, got highway robbery on that person for buying it from them, but they felt good and I felt good. This might honestly be our last opportunity to get in at $450, $500. Who knows? Is it going to be the next Team Up? Is it going to be the next XY Evolutions? I don't know. I know it's a lot of money to spend on sealed modern, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? We might be sitting back, 3 years from now and going, man, I wish I would have spent $400 per booster box because they're sitting at $1,200 a pop. I just don't know. All I know is it has survived everything that has thrown its way from, you got ETBs that are available at Walmart, you got sleeved booster packs that are available. I just picked 60 up from my local Publix the other day. There was a small restock on Pokemon Center, and it has just said, I don't care. I am going to continue to be this absolute beast, and it has continued to do well. So those are my PikiPikaPapa picks for this quarter. It is going to be incredibly interesting to get back and see how these four produce. And again, as long as Astral Radiance isn't available on Pokemon Center, I think it's going to be all right, but that could hold it back. We shall see. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed an awesome weekend. I can't wait. On Wednesday, I'm going to bring to you a video where I'm going to show you some of the cards that I'm sending off to PSA because I have been ordering a bunch of singles, and I am freaking pumped. You guys have a great one. I appreciate you, and I will talk to you later. Thank you.